Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for clicking on this video. So today I'm coming to do a quick wrap-up video on my recent trip to Jamaica. I know there are several people who are going to Jamaica pretty soon, and some people who have expressed interest actually in going and wanted to get a little bit more clarification on how the whole process went for traveling, especially now in this active pandemic. So let's get started. Before I get started, I do want to say that everything that I am telling you was pertaining to how things were going when we went to Jamaica, and I was there from May 20th through May 25th of 2021. Now, with the pandemic still being active and everything, the rules can change like literally daily. So one thing I suggest is to keep up with the day-to-day protocols and policies specifically for Jamaica by going to visitjamaica.com. They update their website anytime there's any changes, and that's where you need to go to get exact information for your specific trip and your travel dates. But we started out with looking on the website and finding out exactly what we needed to know as far as getting tested for COVID-19. At the time, we did have to be tested within 72 hours of our travel date. They have on their website a travel calendar, so you can go on there and you put in the day you're leaving, and they'll tell you the earliest date that you can get tested. It can be no more than 3 days before you're going to leave. And it's very important to know that you have to have a PCR test. And that's where they actually send your specimen out to a lab. They will not accept the rapid test to leave the country. So what we did was we used the same site that I've used since this whole pandemic started, curative.com, and they schedule testing in your area based on your zip code, and it's free testing. So you can check out that website and find out if there's something the day that you need to be tested. And they will accept, once you get to the airport, they will accept either a printed copy showing that you had a negative test, or you can show them the results from the email that you get with your test results. Either one works just fine. We also had to fill out a travel authorization form, and it's basically a quick questionnaire on the website, the visitjamaica.com website, and they're asking you questions like when you're leaving, how long you're staying, where you're staying, who you're traveling with. They need your passport information, so make sure you have a valid passport, and technically it's not supposed to expire within 6 months from the time you get home. So definitely check your expiration date to make sure it won't expire before 6 months. And then you fill out that questionnaire online, and they almost immediately you get a response of whether or not you're approved for travel, and they will email you, and you have to take that to the airport as well. They will accept, again, a printed form, or you can show them on your phone. So after that, that was basically it. You go to the airport, you show your proof, and they let you in. Now, to travel back home, you also have to test negative to be able to leave Jamaica to come back into America. And most of the resorts there will give you the test for free. They had a nurse on site at our resort. We stayed at the Royalton Negril, and 2 or 3 days before you leave, you go on their website and you request that you want to have a test done. They emailed us, and then they gave us a date and time. You go get your test done, and then they email you your results, and that's what you have to prove at the airport to get back into America. Now, if for some reason your test came back positive, you should hopefully, before you even leave, kind of have a plan in place of what happens if you test positive and they won't let you leave. where you're staying at, you could possibly stay to quarantine or maybe find something else. But it's definitely a good idea to have a plan in place just in case you test positive. Um, I would say that most places over in Jamaica, you know, it was just like here, wear your mask in public areas, um, and keep your social distance from people, even with the mask on. They did a really good job of having places you could stand so you're not directly on top of people. There was tons of hand washing stations, available hand sanitizer all throughout our resort, all throughout the airports. Most places we went to, before you could even go in, they make you wash your hands or they give you sanitizer. The excursions we went on, they had sanitizer readily available. So there was plenty of opportunities for keeping yourself safe and clean. But just sort of keep masks with you just in case. You know, I brought tons of extra masks that we could switch out and throw away if something got messed up. But while you're there, you know, once you're on the excursion, whether you wear your mask, it just depends on what your activity is. But just try to keep your distance. And if you're going with a group, sort of stay with your group since you know everybody tested negative. We were a little cautious, but at the same time, we kind of relaxed a little bit on the thought that we knew everybody there had to test negative to get there. And most of our party was fully vaccinated as well. But still a good idea to, you know, watch your surroundings and stay safe so you can test negative so you can come back home. Another thing I wanted to talk about was the customs form. While we were in the air going to Jamaica, the stewardesses, they brought around a customs form and told us to fill it out. Now, I did fill the form out, but once we got to Jamaica and to the customs, they never asked for the form. They never took it. They just checked our passports. They asked us if we had any, like, food, any fruit, any live animals, things like that. Of course, we said no, so they let us through just fine. I don't know if that would be the case with everyone, but I would just say have a pen available, because they won't give you a pen on the airplane, but take something to write with and fill out the form just in case. We also had to fill out a form to come back to America with the same thing. They want to know if you purchased any items while you were in Jamaica, if you're declaring like food or liquor or souvenirs, and they want to know the value of it. I believe it, like, you have up to like $800 or something that you can purchase as far as souvenirs. I could be wrong, don't quote me on that, but it was a pretty high price that you could afford to declare and be fine with. Now, coming back through customs, also they didn't take the card. They just, you know, checked our passport. They asked what we were bringing and how much money on souvenirs we spent, and that was it. We fly into Philadelphia, and they had a self checkout for customs. It had like a whole bunch of kiosks, and you scan your passport, you answer some questions, and you take your picture, and then they give you a receipt to prove that this is you and everything. And then you go to another customs line, they check your receipt, they keep it, and then you can go. So it was fairly simple. Once, just make sure you have all your stuff. Like, they are definitely herding you like cattle through the airport. So many more people are traveling now, so it was pretty crowded, and they're just, you know, make sure you have your boarding pass, passport, blah, 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 blah. Like, they want everything, so once you're there, you're not fumbling through. But the whole process was not that bad. So, once we got to Jamaica, once you get there, you can either get a taxi or you can have wherever you're staying pick you up. I went with an independent contractor, a tour company called Irie Vacation Tours. I'll pop it up on the screen. On Instagram, I highly recommend this company. They were awesome. I the entire I was planning this trip for about 6 months, and I was speaking with a gentleman named Andreas, and he was very helpful, very informative. He got everything that we needed as far as the excursions we wanted to do. Um, and his company, they will pick you up. They have cars, they have luxury cars, they have shuttles, they have like charter buses. Depending on how big your group is, they offer door-to-door pickup, which was great because I know like most of the resorts, they have multiple stops before you get to the resort. So it was nice to be able to just go straight there, have a nice pleasant ride. Very friendly. You will get I don't know what I did with it. Oh, sorry. I should have had it out, but they give you a personalized sign, anything you want on your sign, and he's out there waiting to pick you up and take you to your resort. Now, we stayed at the Royalton Negril. I will say I wish we would have stayed a little bit closer to the airport, to the Montego Bay area, because a lot of the excursions were in Montego Bay, and it was about an hour and a half to get from the airport to our resort. The ride was nice, seeing the scenery, learning some history about Jamaica and everything, but it is pretty far. The resort was beautiful. It was a wonderful resort. I just wish it was a little bit closer to the Montego Bay area, but that's something you could think about. There was lots of the mosquito. There's lots of different resorts and hotels and everything in the Montego Bay area. That's sort of like in the middle of that bigger city than Negril. But nonetheless, we still had a wonderful time, and we stayed at a fabulous resort. Once we got to the resort, it was the same thing, safety protocols, checking you in. It was all inclusive, which was awesome. I highly recommend all inclusive. The entire time I was comparing all inclusive to cruising, because if you don't know, I love to cruise, and I will say the only thing I love better about cruising than all inclusive is the fact that in the 5 days that I was in Jamaica, if I was on a cruise, in 5 days I could have seen 2 or 3 different places. That's literally the only thing that puts cruise here and all inclusive right there. I love to see new places, and staying on a resort, you're kind of, stuck to that. Not stuck, because you can still do excursions, but right now during the pandemic, a lot of places closed early. They were on curfew in Jamaica, but it was hard to tell the times. Some places closed early, and then once things are shut down, whatever time their curfew was, I believe like the people who live there have an extra hour for getting home from work and things like that. But it didn't seem to be an issue. We still got to do everything we wanted. We still got to take excursions, and it was perfectly fine. Like, if you didn't know that there was a curfew, you wouldn't know that there was a curfew. So that was nice. Everyone in Jamaica is so extremely nice, so friendly, so helpful. It was amazing. It rained every day while we was there, but that was okay. The weather was still great, and once it stopped raining, it went right back to being hot and sunny. So that was cool. But yes, comparison to cruising, I definitely say only thing I liked better about cruising is the fact that you could see multiple places in one trip. On the resort, they had unlimited food, unlimited drinks. They had entertainment every night, just like on the cruise ship. They had activities during the day. They weren't as active as on a cruise ship, but they did have things posted, and they would do some things by the pool. There was a kids camp. We didn't check it out, but because of Corona and the space, they were only allowing like up to 10 kids in there anyway. So, but they do have services for dropping your kids off, and they had activities for the kids and games and like arts and crafts and stuff. So there's definitely something that you can do all day long on the resort. Okay, so they definitely prefer US money. So I would suggest whatever amount of money you plan to spend, to just take it out of your bank before you leave and get small bills, because it's a lot easier to purchase things. Sometimes I did notice when we were trying to get a few things, like, oh, do you have change for 20? They're like, no. So then you're like, okay, well, then I can't get it. So I would say tens, fives, and ones. Definitely take smaller bills. But they prefer, it's easier just to have American money. They accept American currency everywhere. So when you get to the airport or your resort, don't even worry about going and changing your money over. It's not worth it. You just use your own money. And also, it's easier than enduring international fees. There was a couple of times I used my credit card or my debit card, and like, like 2 days after I got home, I noticed international fees were placed on my card. So that's something to think about. It's easier to use cash, so you don't have to worry about the fees. Now I'm going to talk about the resort just really quick. Royalton Negril Resort and Spa. It was a wonderful hotel. The staff was very nice. Every place all around the resort was clean. It has its own beach, which was awesome. They do have an adult-only side. They have a family-friendly side, and they also have like a deluxe side, like a private pool, private bar, if you upgrade to that. But there is a fee to upgrade. But where we were awesome. They even have certain rooms that have this swim out patio, so you can open your door and go right into a shared, like one big shared swimming pool. The resort was really nice. The food was okay. I'm not a big foodie as far as I need my food to be well exquisite. There was something on the buffet that I could eat every day. So it was okay. Like, I will say the food was decent. They did have maybe four or five other restaurants. Because of the pandemic, it was first come, first serve with limited capacity. So if you didn't get there, like literally when the day opened, you probably weren't going to get seated. And they had one restaurant, the Zen restaurant where we ate at the last night. It's like a hibachi, where you have to actually have a reservation. The other ones were you could walk up, first come, first serve. They had probably about 7 different bars, I think. They had a sports club, like a sports bar, and then they had several bars throughout. They had a spa, a full spa, which was really nice. I got a massage. It was wonderful. They have a gym as well, fitness center. They had a salon where you could get your hair and your nails done. So it was a full service spa, and it was really nice. And there was a charge for that, but it was probably comparable price to what you would pay on a cruise or just in your hometown if you go and get an hour Swedish massage. It was like $90. And because of how I booked through my travel agent, I actually got a discount. I got $25 off spa services, so that was nice. That was a nice little treat to have. So yeah, I think overall it was a wonderful experience. There was so many things done to ensure your safety. There was no time that I didn't feel safe. There was no time where I was worried about, anything happening. And I believe that now that more and more people are getting vaccinated, that the travel restrictions are going to slowly become back to normal, where you can really go out and explore and have a great time. But if you're looking for a nice vacation, I highly recommend Jamaica. We had an awesome time. We had a group of 30 people, and we all had a wonderful time. So if you have any other questions, leave me a comment down below. I will try my best to answer, or to help you find the answer that you need. But if you are considering going, I definitely suggest now is the time. It's summertime. Let's get back out there. We gotta conquer our fear of this big bad coronavirus and get back out there in the world. Thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate it. Give this video a thumbs up. If you are not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.